Hi, I'm Susie Sage and welcome to Twirl Girl Designs and my very first pattern, Best Buds, the one up behind me. When I wrote the instructions for Best Buds, the Zig Wag border, the continuous strip technique, I tried to put it in the best words I could, but if you are like me, it's easier to learn a new technique if someone shows you how. So with the help of my sister Teresa, today I'm going to show you how. If you take a look at the project I'm working on now, it's Best Buds but in a different colorway. You'll notice that these Zig Wag borders on the side are actually two strips of triangles that are sewn together to form that Zig Wag, that zigzag. So the piece we're going to work on today is the one that's missing up here. So I can show you how that continuous piecing technique is done. So if you'll grab your 4.5 by 2.5 inch rectangles of your print and your background. We're going to start with the print, and if you come in close, Birdie, I can show them a Twirl Girl technique. Anytime you are going to draw a diagonal on a rectangle, just line up the edges up here, and what you see, if you go from corner to corner, you'll have a good diagonal. So just take your pencil or your marker, whichever you choose, draw your diagonal, just light enough so you can see it. Then you'll move this piece over, lining up the raw edges, top and sides. I always take a little pin and pin the corner. Take it over to the machine, and you will just sew on that diagonal line. Trim, take the pin off, and then when you flip this, you'll see that it matches pretty good. So I'll press it. Now I'll trim. I never trim first because I want to make sure that the diagonal is going in the right way. And then to make sure it lines up. So here we have the first step of the Zig Wag border. So now I'll take another print, background, print. And this is where you have to use some caution, because if I put the diagonal on it like this and I flipped it over, that would be wrong. So I move it up here because this is the way I want the diagonal to go to form this triangle. So using my ruler, the diagonal is going to go this way. Line up the corners. Draw my line. Line up the raw edges. I'll put the pin in the corner. Sew on the line. Now you'll often hear instructors and instructions tell you to use a scant 1/4 inch, meaning you want to sew 1 or 2 threads to the line. You know, I just can't do that, so I always sew just on the line. So again, I flip it back, I've formed my triangle. It looks pretty good. So I will press. Trim. If you wanted to use your rotary cutter and ruler, you could, but I just usually eyeball it with scissors. Now I've got the print, background print. I'm going to use another background. I want it to flip this way, to form this triangle. Draw my line. Line up the edges. Pin the corner. Sew on the line. That looks good. Oop, fuzzy. Trim your 1/4 inch. And this, you just continue this process until you have used the squares, the rectangles. So this one would flip this way, then this one would flip this way. Just using that technique. It's very easy, but now that you've seen it, I think it'll make more sense to you, and you can refer to this video anytime you're making this continuous border. Now, if you look again at my sample here, you'll see that this outside one has a red half square here, and the inside one has the half background one. So what you do once you get your strip completed is that you will take your 2.5 inch square that you've already drawn your diagonal line on. You'll meet it end to end, raw edge to raw edge here, so then when you flip it, you've got that finished end. 2.5 square, end to end, sew on the drawn line, flip, press, and trim, and then you'll have your inside border. Teresa can bear with me for 1 minute. I'm going to show you how to put these two strips together. See, when they get sewn together, they're going to form that zigzag. But if you want it to be as close to a perfect zigzag as you can, what I do, and I'll show you on the blue, that would probably show up better, is that I'll take this and just finger press in half. And where that finger press is, I just make a small little line. And I'll do that for each of the triangles. Then when I put them together, I have this, my little mark. I'll line up with the point of that triangle, and that's where I'll pin. And I'll continue to take the half mark to the point and pin. Then I'll sew the 1/4 inch seam. So when you open it, if you're lucky, you should have that perfect zigzag. If you ever have any questions or you have any problems, please give me an email or give me a call. Thank you very much, and thank you.